Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to the Trading Coach Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share some shocking numbers about trading. But before we hop into things, I wanted to remind you that we have a free online 2-week trading workshop kicking off August 1st and running through the 12th. Again, it is free. It is 100% online. It is an interactive workshop where you get to work with a handful of professional traders as well as a great community of supportive traders as well. So make sure you sign up for the Bridging the Gap workshop starting on August 1st. You can do so at www.tier1trading.com/BTG or just www.tier1trading.com. There should be a little thing that pops up on your screen. Looking forward to seeing you there. And that topic kind of runs right into today's topic, right? I'm going to share with you some shocking numbers, but the idea came from really a tweet that I saw talking about coaching and mentorship and really how we value it. And I'll tell you this, right? Obviously, I'm going to sound a little bit biased because I am a coach. I am a mentor. I've been doing it for years. I love it. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing people that you've worked with for a very long period of time establish their goals and kind of tell you that they've changed their life, right? That is the same reason I coach track and field. But early on in my career, I was highly against it. You see, I was someone that, although I got coaching from athletics, as far as like everything else in life, I always earned it by just working hard. I was always that person that, I would gain success just by working hard and figuring it out. And I would just keep basically, pounding on the door until the door of success fell down. And that even worked for me in investing, but it didn't work for me in trading. And I tried for a long period of time. And when I got approached with the opportunity of being coached, having a mentor, I was really hesitant because not only am I stubborn and I like figuring out things for myself, right? I had to feed that ego, I guess you can say. But I'm also very cheap. I am a frugal person. I don't really like paying for stuff that I don't need to pay for. I put a lot of thought into things before I make it. And that reminds me, it brings me right into this quote that I saw by my buddy Austin Silver. Many of you guys may know him. He says, "In trading, as in any skill-based activity, mentorship is not required, but can dramatically shorten the learning curve and keep someone from financially blowing up before ever getting the chance to do good." And there's two things I love about that statement. One is that mentorship and coaching is not required. That is 100% true, right? There are many people that have been successful without coaches, without mentors in many aspects of life. The key to that statement is shorten the learning curve, and that's where the time component comes in. And in my personal journey, one of the reasons that I decided to go with coaching and mentorship is, again, I had struggled for a good period of time, and I really didn't see myself making any steps of improvement. And I do know the value of mentorship. I was just cheap and didn't want to pay for it. And I knew that if I had a mentor, if I had a coach, it would shorten the learning curve. And I was at the point where I was a little bit scared that I was running out of time. Again, remember, I quit my jobs to pursue trading. So it wasn't like I was just young and I had all the comforts of the world, right? I had my back against the wall. I had a nest egg that was running out of money. Something had to give. And the other part of that is, again, we'll touch on this part later, but financially blowing up your account. Most people just don't make it to success, right? One of my most favorite quotes, I have it in my business plan or my trading plan, is the only reason, or I believe that the only reason people fail is because they give up before having the chance to succeed, right? In general, I think a lot of people quit before they have the chance to succeed. Again, imagine that meme where there's two people digging for gold underground and, one guy has a pickaxe and he's walking backwards and he's like inches away from like gold and silver and all that fun stuff. And then the other guy is just digging and gets it, right? People give up before success. And that is true in trading as well. The biggest difference is there is a financial component of trading. So many people may give up just because they're tired and they're looking for the next thing or they want to try something else. Many people are forced to give up because they run out of money. And that's where blowing an account comes into effect. And that is a real thing. But not just the time urgency. That's not the only reason I decided to go really get coaching and mentorship, it's because of my mindset at the time, right? Instead of looking at it like a bill, instead of looking at it like a cost of something I had to pay for, I thought about it as an investment, right? I was fully in to becoming a full-time trader. Again, quit 3 jobs to do it. I was fully in. I jumped off the cliff. We're going to figure out how to make this parachute on the way down, right? Disclaimer, don't actually jump off cliffs without parachutes. I don't want to get sued or anything like that for telling you guys to do that. But, just just an analogy, right? Or a metaphor or whatever like that. But here's the thing, right? So I looked at it as an investment. I said, okay, I am investing in something, right? This is a skill, a program, a class, just like college could be looked at as an investment, maybe, depending on what you're doing. But most times not. But I looked at it as an investment, and I said, hey, I'm investing X amount of money. And for me, my training course or mentorship program costs $4,000. And you can see why I'm hesitant, right? At the time, $4,000 was a massive amount of money. $4,000 is still a massive amount of money, but it was a much greater sum of money back then to me. It was much more important to me than it is now. But the question I ask myself is, one, do I think, and this is any investment you do, right? One, do I think my investment is going to pay off, right? Meaning that with whatever I'm investing, am I at least going to make it back and more, right? You got to check the box on that. If you don't, you should never invest in something that you don't think is going to make you money because it's not actually investment, right? Like people invest in like cars and boats, and that's not an investment. All they do is they depreciate. That's it. So one, am I going to at least make my money back, and am I going to make more off this investment? Two, how long is it going to take me to do it, and how long can I milk this investment, right? So in different forms of investment, there may be kind of, hard deadlines on, how long you can invest in something before it starts to decline. If you're investing in a specific stock, you're going to go through ebbs and flows in the markets, recessions and whatnot. So you may be timing it out to the next recession where you may be saying, hey, I got this stock 2 years in, I can ride it up for probably another 8 until that recession comes, and then I got to cash out. So, what is my projected return on investment for that 8-year period before we reconsider and reevaluate the situation for the next kind of 8-year period? Something like that. With a skill-based thing, this is something different because the only ceiling on my investment is me, and I can literally do this until I stop. So I told myself that, hey, I was 25 at the time, somewhere in the mid-20s. I said, hey, I'll probably be doing this for about 30 more years, right? 55, right? 10 years before technical retirement. I may go longer. I may become less active. Who knows? I've still got a long way to go before 55. But at the time, I was like, okay, I'll do this for 30 more years. What can my return look like in 30 more years? And when I did that math, it ended up being a no-brainer choice. And I want to walk you through this math. It may get a little numbery. I apologize. I'll try to skip to the highlights. But not many of you actually take the time to do this. And I would actually, I would recommend when you're done listening to this podcast, after you share and leave me feedback and a 5-star rating, right? After you do that stuff, I would recommend that you actually, whip out the pen and paper like I did, or if you're a computer person, the Excel spreadsheet, and actually start doing some compounding and start looking at your future goals and projecting what can actually be made. If you're someone that has already done your back testing and you're using a money management strategy, you're going to have a more kind of specific outlook of that because you have actually hard numbers. If you're someone that has, you're not even at that part, you're brand new, you don't know what to expect, you can do something like me, right? Where I just knocked in a 30% return, right? I said, if I can make a 30% return, I am doing better than the market. It's not outstanding. It's not anything crazy 100% a year, but it's doable. It's something that is realistic. If I make more, it's better, right? Whenever I set goals, I try to be I try to under project and overperform. That's my thing. I'd rather under project and overperform than over project and underperform, because then I'm upset and depressed and feel like a loser. I'd rather feel like a winner, right? Everything else is bonus. So 30% was a good number. And I want to walk you through this year by year. We're going to go, I said 30 years. We're going to go 20 years because that's when I got bored and stopped doing the math. But I'm going to walk you through 20 years of progress. So year one, right? Let's say I'm starting with a $10,000 account because that was my intention at the time. So Year one, I'm at $6,000. Why am I at $6,000, right? Because I invested $4,000. I had an initial $10,000 investment. I gave $4,000 to mentorship and coaching. That's what it cost me at the time. It's a lot cheaper, I believe, now, but that's what it cost me at the time. I'm not doing any active trading during my first year. I'm not doing anything dumb. I'm not hopping in and blowing money. I have dedicated a full 12-month period to learning how to trade, right? Not worried about actual trading, just learning how to trade. So after year one, I'm down $4,000, right? I'm down to $6,000, right? Year two, let's say everything is going in year two. I'm up and running. I've worked through all my psychological hurdles. Again, usually we're looking at 6 to 18 months for traders to kind of find their stride if they're doing things the right way. So it can be anywhere. It could be less than 1 year. It could be in the middle. It could be 2 years. It's going to be different for everyone, but we're just kind of throwing in projections here. So let's say year two, I hit my stride. I'm clicking on all cylinders. I do my 30% return. That $6,000 account is now $7,800. So $7,800, right? Year three, doing the same thing, right? 30%, boom, I'm a machine, right? That 7,800 is back up to 10,140, right? So after 2 years, or I guess 3 years, you can say, because of the first initial year of training, after year three, I've already broken even on my investment. Now remember, I'm planning on doing this for 30 years or 20 years for this example, sorry. So I've got 17 years left of theoretically nothing but profit, right? In 3 years, I've made up my $4,000 initial investment. I've paid myself back for it, and now everything is profit. Everything is above the zero line after that. So I'll take you to some kind of bench point marks. We're not going to go year by year, but we'll skip to year five, right? So year five, right? The initial $10,000 account, which went down to $6,000, right, is up to $17,000. Year 10, we're up to $63,000, right? And you can see these things start exponentially growing. In the first few years, it doesn't grow that much. And this is what people don't understand about compounding, right? A lot of people want the glory right away. They say, man, Akil, you traded it took you 4 years to double your account. It took you 4 years to go from $6,000 to basically, $13,000, right? That's too long. I can't wait 4 years to do that. I should be able to do that in a day. And you're thinking too small. You got to think big picture, because it takes a little bit of time to get that momentum growing. But once that momentum gets going, boom, you start seeing these drastic increases. It took 4 years to double your account the first time, right? Again, $6,000. Now we're on year 5, 17, right? We go to year 10, $63,000. We go to year 15. Guess what year 15 is? Your account size is up to $236,000 by year 15. We fast forward all the way to year 20. That $6,000 account, $877,000. This is with no money management strategy. This is just a consistent 30% churn each year, which I think is a very realistic goal, if not kind of undercutting it a little bit. 20 years, your 20-year investment, you went from 6,000, simple change, right, to $877,000. And people poo-poo a 30% return, a 40% return. People will even poo-poo a 50% return. I hope you understand how incredible this stuff is. But the problem is we're thinking too small. We're thinking in the first 5 years where it's 6,000 to 17,000, instead of the last 15 years where it's 17,000 to 877,000. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Keel, can I get the same return if I don't take up coaching and I don't get mentorship? And yeah, and I would say this, you probably, because the quote initially said in trading in any skill-based activity, mentorship is not required, but can dramatically shorten the learning curve, right? So let's say you double the time it takes for you to figure it out. Let's say instead of 1 year to figure it out, or it takes you another year. So now you're a year behind in everything, right? So in year 3, instead of being at 10,000, you're only at 7,000. In year 10, instead of being at 63,000, you're at 48,000. In year 20, instead of being at 877,000, you're at 674,000, right? Again, at first, it doesn't really seem that much. 10,000 versus 7,000, big deal. But does 877,000 versus 674,000 sound like a big deal? $200,000? Yes. That is a massive deal. And that's only adding one more year to your learning curve. Do you see why time is so important? Right? The goal is to get going as soon as possible because you are going to pay this investment off. And once that ball gets rolling, it picks up steam. And what you're doing now is you're building that steam for 10 years in the future. And every single second, minute, hour, week, month, year you waste now, those are dollars that are being churned off. Those are dollars that are not being made. That is time being wasted, right? There's there's an expiration on life as well, a livelihood and life as well. And I don't want to get too morbid and talk about that aspect, but just from a pure financial perspective, money is burning every time you're playing around. And the most important bit to remember is this. If you don't do coaching and you don't do mentorship of some kind, it drastically increases your learning curve, obviously. It also drastically decreases your chances of being successful. And that means two things. That means either churning for a very long period of time in that Mark Douglas boom or buster category. I was nice with being 1 year behind. In reality, you're probably 3, 4, 5 years behind. I've spoken to traders recently who have been stuck for 7 years. And the hats off for still trying, but you got to do something different. But the harsh reality is that most of you won't even get to the point where you're 1 year behind. Why? Because you won't make it that far. You will fail. And you won't fail because you've given up. You'll fail because you've ran out of money. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Do me a favor, share this on your favorite social media app. Give me a shout out as well. I love when you guys share the episode. It reaches new traders each and every time I put one of these out. And I love getting messages saying, Keel, just found your podcast. I'm about to go through the last 700 episodes and indulge. It's great. We're touching so many people. We're changing so many lives. And a lot of that is for you guys keeping this podcast highly ranked internationally. So thank you guys. Keep it up. And I'll see you guys next episode.